Hello everyone, welcome to Jolly Molly TV. Today we're going to stitch out another block in this amazing project by Urban Threads called Build a Halloween Bookshelf. In today's video we're going to stitch out this block right here that's called Haunting Tales. We got some fun books to stitch out. So go ahead and gather all your supplies and let's head over to the machine and let's get started stitching. Alright, we're at the machine. And I put a bobbin with black bobbin thread down below because we're using black fabric, so I want it to match in case there's any tension issues. You don't have to change it out as we go through the project. Just leave the black bobbin thread down below for the entire block, okay? So I've put my hoop on my machine that corresponds with the design I'm using, which is just under 8-inch design. Get your hoop that you need for your size of design, then put a piece of the poly no-show mesh stabilizer in it and put your hoop on the machine. Now let's go to the screen cam and let's load the design. So I'm going to click on Embroidery. I'm going to go to my flash drive because that's where I keep all of my projects, and I have it in a folder called Halloween Bookshelf. So today we're going to stitch out block number 8, which is this one right here, which are the books. And it says Haunted Tales. That's the block I want. We've got 45,549 stitches, which is about 84 minutes. But again, that depends on your machine speed. I run my machine at half speed, so it takes a little longer. Not a problem because I enjoy watching the stitch out. But then I think it's a little bit easier on my machine too, not to be running at full tilt all the time. All right, and there's my design, slightly under 8 inches. That's the one I want. I click Set. I don't have to do anything to it. I click Embroidery. All right, now I'm going to hit the plus and minus key. And again, this is on a Baby Lock Destiny, which is identical to the Embroidery machine. So if you have something similar, you can follow along. I want to go to the very last stitch in this block. The first stitch is a spider web. I don't want to do that one. I want to go back one stitch. Okay, and this is going to bring up an outline that we're going to use to get a placement line for the batting. We're going to stitch it again to tack down the batting, and then we're going to stitch it again to tack down the fabric. So that's where I want to be. Now we're going to go to the hoop cam. I've got black thread in the top of my machine. I'm going to use this for the next 3 stitch outs, which is going to be the placement line, the tack down for the batting, and the tack down for the fabric because I got black fabric. All right, so put black thread up on the top of your machine, and let's put the foot down and let's stitch out the placement line for the batting. Okay, so now I want to lay down my batting, and I just want to make sure that I cover all of that placement line, and because my batting is cut a little larger, there's no problem with that. Just make sure it covers it all. Now we're going to go back to the screen cam. It thinks it's done. We're going to click OK, and then I'm going to go backwards one step because right now it's at the first step. Step 1. I want to go back to the very last one. There's the last stitch, and that's the outline. I want to stitch that again. Okay. Oops. So now let's hold down the batting, put the foot down, black thread still on the top of your machine, and let's tack down the batting. So now I want you to take the hoop gently off the machine, take this over to a table, and I want you to use some curved scissors, and I want you to trim around the outside edge and get rid of all of this excess batting, and then I'll meet you right back here. Okay, so I've got the hoop back on the machine. I got the batting all trimmed up. Now I want to go to the screen cam again, click OK, and I want to go back one stitch one more time. Yeah, so this is the third stitch out of this step, and then after this, we'll start at the beginning. We'll do this again at the very end, but you don't have to worry about that now. We'll do it in progression of each step. We're just utilizing this tool to be able to allow us to tack down the batting and tack down the fabric to add that to our block. So our block will look great. Okay, so now get my glitter off the batting. I'm going to put down my fabric and I want to center this as best I can. Just feel for the edges, and you can kind of feel where the batting is and just center it. There's the batting. There's the batting. I can go up just a little bit. Again, my sides are good. That's over just a smidgen. There we go. And top and bottom is good. All right. Black thread is still on the top of the machine. Put the foot down and let's stitch this out, tacking down your fabric. You got this. So now we're going to click OK on finished embroidering. And now it's at the very first step, which is where we want to be. I just click OK. You did it. So now I'm going to take the hoop gently off the machine. Don't let it move. And I'm just going to clean up this batting fuzz. I had the piece of batting up against the fabric. And so I got a whole lot of fuzz. Not going to worry about the edge. I'm just going to worry about the center part, where the stitches are going to go, so that fuzz doesn't get built in to my stitches. All right. Oops. One more piece up here. There we go. All right. So put the hoop back on. And now we're ready to start stitching the block out. Okay. So just a reminder on your thread color chart here. The colors do not go up and down. They go left to right. So this is number 1, baby's breath. Number 2, terracotta. 3, copper. 4, dark teal, etc. All right, left to right. I don't want you to grab the wrong color threads. Okay, so the step 1 is going to be to switch our thread to baby's breath. And we're going to be doing the spider web. Ew. Okay, so that's going to be some line work up at the top. So put the baby's breath thread up in the top of your machine. You got this. This is going to be a fun stitch out. We're just going to do one thread at a time and work our way through it and enjoy the process. All right. This is a 1 minute in real life stitch out, again, based on my machine, going at half speed. All right, here we go. Okay, so that looks cool. At least there's not a spider attached to that one. Okay, so now let's switch and put step number 2, the terracotta thread in here, and we're going to stitch out a book. All right, because this block is basically one big stack of books, and I think that's what it's called. Haunting Tales Stack. So it's a stack of books. All right? All right, so I got my terracotta thread in there. This is a 4 minute in real life stitch out. All right. You know, this is bugging me. I'm going to get some of this fuzz off the bottom too. There we go. That looks a little better. All right. Foot down and let's stitch it out. Enjoy. very nice start to the block. Now we're going to do some accents on that book. So step 3 is to put your copper thread up in the top of your machine so we can stitch the accents on top of that terracotta thread that we just stitched down. Very cool. All right. I really hope they make more of these bookcase series projects. I would love to see a Christmas one. Get your loop out if you have a loop. I would love to see one for the holidays. That would be amazing. Maybe a winter one. Maybe Easter. They could do like a series of all the yearly holidays in all bookcases. That would be amazing, I think. All right, so let's put the foot down and let's stitch this out. This is 2 minutes in real life. Here we go. All right, now take that thread out and get step number 4, which is going to be your dark teal thread. There we go. So get your dark teal thread, put that in the top of your machine. It's really enjoyable. I find this very relaxing in the process and watching it stitch out. It's like magic. All right, this is an 8-minute in real life stitch out. We're going to do 2 books, one here and one over here. All right, you got this. All right, we're starting to see books. Okay, we are now already on step number 5, and that is going to be the green turquoise thread. And this is going to just do some shading accents on those 2 books that we just stitched out. And this is a 3-minute in real life stitch out. So load your machine with your green turquoise thread. Make sure you don't have any loops. And I think we're good. Yep, we're good to go. Let's stitch it out. cool. Are you loving this so far? I am. I hope you are too. All right, so let's put step 6 thread in the top of the machine. That is going to be majestic purple. And that is going to be another 2 books, it looks like. All right, we love purple, so I love doing a couple books in that color too. All right, so let's load the thread up. This is a 7-minute in real life stitch out. Get that loop out. All right, put the foot down and let's stitch it out. Enjoy the process. Okay, my bobbin thread ran out of thread. That's okay. Let's cut the thread where we stopped. Okay, we're going to take the hoop very gently off of the machine. And we're going to pull out this bobbin. Yep, it's empty. All right, so let's go ahead and put a new one in. That one wasn't full when I started the block, but it was, I'd say, at least half full. So now we just load it in. And this is going to happen to you as you embroider, every time you embroider. So it's good to know what to do when it stops mid-stitch like this. So I put the hoop back on the machine, and now it's doing some of this cross thread. Now, if it was doing something like this on the first part and it wasn't going to have an accent over the top of it, I would really be trying to get right up to the stitching. But I know that this is going to have Mystic Lavender over the top of it. So I can easily go back my 10 stitches, and if the line looks a little wider, it's not going to be noticeable because it's going to have shading on top. The only problem you might have is if you're like over here where it's not going to have shading. And then I would probably just go back 5 stitches, so the doubling up would be very small and wouldn't be noticeable. All right, but over here, because I know that's got shading, I'm going to go back my standard 10 stitches, and it's going to be fine. You're never going to see it. All right, so let's look at the screen. Let's hit return. I'm going to hit my plus and minus key, and I'm going to go back 10 stitches. 10, and click OK. Easy peasy. That way it can go back, lock in the stitches, and we're all going to be good. All right, so let's put the foot down and let's continue on. See, you can do this. Very nice. All right, so now we're on step 7, and now we're going to put that Mystic Lavender thread in the top of the machine, because now we're going to do that shadow accent that I was just talking about on that purple book on the left. It's not going to do anything over here, it looks like. At least not now. It's just going to do the book on the left. A little tight here. Here we go. So put Mystic Lavender up on top. Get your loop out if you have one. And let's stitch this out. This is 2 minutes in real life. Here we go. Hey, it's starting to come together. All right, so now we're on step number 8, which is coffee bean. And this is going to do 2 more books. All right, so this is a 6-minute in real life stitch out. Put your coffee bean colored thread up on top. And you got this. And then we'll have all the books stitched out, at least the foundations. And then we'll add stuff like outlines and shading to them, but we'll have the main books done. All right, get that loop out. There we go. All right, put the foot down, and this is a 6-minute stitch out. Enjoy. Nice. Now we have the foundation of all of our books stitched out so we can see all the cool colors. It's amazing. So now let's do some accents on those 2 brown books that we just stitched out. So we're on step number 9, and we're going to put khaki color thread in the top of our machine. 2-minute in real life stitch out. You've got this, except we have a loop. And I need to get my stylus to get it out because my fingers are larger than the little space I got to get in. There we go. All right, let's stitch this out. You got this. Always make sure your needle is stopped before you put your hand anywhere near that needle. All right. So now we're going to put the coffee bean thread back in, and we're going to stitch out our famous shelf. All right. You got this. This is a 7-minute in real life stitch out. We're doing really well by the time we get to the shelf, right? Right. No loop. foot down, and let's stitch out the shelf. All right, isn't that looking great? I really do love this project. I think it's amazing. All right, so now we're going to go to step 11, which it calls for emerald black, or in my case, I'm using a blue black. So pick your color thread that you're using for emerald black and put that in the top of your machine. This is line work. So this is going to do accents on all of the books as we go through. So it's a 6-minute in real life stitch out. You got this. Alrighty, let's put the foot down and let's stitch. Very nice. Okay, you ready? You know, we're over halfway done with our color changes. Yes, we are. All right, so that was 11. So now we're on 12. This is a green turquoise. It's going to do some line work on 2 other books. These turquoise ones right there, or teal, or blue-green, or whatever color thread you have. This one's called green turquoise. All right, so put that in the top of the machine. And 4 minutes in real life, we will have this one stitched out. Let's do it. You're doing great. All right. So now we're going to put in step number 13, which is Mystic Lavender. All right. Step 13. This is looking so good. I can't wait to see the gold accents come, which is soon. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 more stitches, I think, before we hit the gold books. Whew, so exciting. All right. You've got this. Get your loop out. And let's stitch this line work out on this book. This is a 3-minute and real life stitch out. Here we go. Yay! Now we're on step 14, Majestic Lavender, and now it's going to do some line work on this book here. So let's put that majestic purple on the top of your machine, and you've got this. You're already on step 14. Look at that. Oh, got a loop, and we're off. This is a 2-minute in real life stitch out. You can do this. Okay, we got purple done. Now we're on step 15, which is the khaki colored thread, which it's going to do the line work on the 2 brown and khaki books. So you got this. We're almost done. We're on step 15 out of 20. We only have 5 more color changes to do. You got this. 1 at a time. All right. This is a 3-minute and a real life stitch out. So let's stitch out the line work on the 2 brown books. Very nice. So now we're going to do step 16, put the copper thread in so we can do the line work around this last book. All right, and then you know what happens after this color thread? We're going to do the gold. So we are almost done, all right? So put your copper thread up on top, load your machine, and this is only a 2-minute in real life stitch out. Oop, we got a loop. All right, got the loop out. Here we go. All right, all the line work on the books is now done. Isn't that amazing? I love how that line work just makes the books pop. It's so cool. So now the stitch out I've been waiting for, sawdust. For me, this is going to be the gold that I have behind my machine on a big spool and a separate thread stand. Put your sawdust color thread in the top of your machine. And this is going to do all of the antique type binding details on the books. It's not going to stitch out the words yet. It's going to do all of the other book accents. Are you ready? This is a 14-minute in real life stitch out. So just sit back and relax. I know I'm going to run out of bobbin thread in the middle of this, and I'll walk you through that when that happens, okay? So let's enjoy the stitch out. thought for sure I was going to run out of bobbin thread, but I made it through it. Look at that. So I am really curious now. Oh, woohoo! Look at that. Talk about bobbin chicken. I am right down. So I am going to swap it out now before I get to the next step, because we're going to do shelf accent and then we're going to do the lettering. So I don't want to have to worry about it then. But wow, I made it just barely. All right, that's a good day when that happens, right? All right, I love this gold accent. I think that's so pretty. All right, so now we're going to put the khaki thread in the top of our machine, because now we're going to stitch the detail or line work on the shelf. All right, you're almost done. This is step 18 out of 20. So we only have 3 steps to go. You can do it. All right, so put khaki thread on the top of your machine. And there we go. Thread the needle. No loops. Let's stitch this out. This is a 2-minute stitch out. Here we go. Nice. Okay, so we are down to the lettering on this last book. So let's do sawdust thread in the top of your machine. And this is a 6-minute in a real life stitch out. So mine is the gold thread that I've done all the other gold accents in. I'm going to do that lettering in that same gold. Can't reach it. Let's get that loop out. There we go. So let's do that. And then after this, we only have to stitch the outside edge and we're done. You got this. Enjoy. All right, so we're good with the lettering. The only thing I wish this block had was something here, gold on the purple. So I think I might try to add that because it wasn't digitized in this program. I might try to just add that on my sewing machine. because it doesn't look like it's complete. It's like the outlines are there for it, but they just forgot to digitize that gold section. So I think I can fix that, and I'll show you that in the video before we put everything together. And I think we can add those with a regular satin stitch on our sewing machine. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and now put black thread up on top because I want to stitch out the outside outline just like we did in the beginning. And you're probably wondering, well, why do I need to do that since I've already done it 3 times in the very beginning? 2 reasons. One, we want to make sure that this black goes on top of any thread that may have been stitched on top of the original thread line that we stitched. So it gives it a finished look. Also, in the process of stitching, sometimes this line gets pulled inward. So we want to have a straight line to cut on. So I'm going to stitch this outside outline one more time. Then I will have a clear straight line to trim up my blocks on. All right. So let's go ahead and make sure we don't have a loop. And let's stitch out this outside outline. And then we're done stitching. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, I love it. The only issue I have is this one. I think right here, like I said earlier, I want to add some gold to that. So I'll try to do that on my machine when we finish this up, and I'll show you how to do that. Because that just doesn't look like it's quite finished up. But the rest of it is amazing. All right, love it. So go ahead and take the hoop off your machine. Go ahead and take the block out of the hoop. Put it aside with your other blocks. And after we stitch the last block, I'll do another video that shows you how to finish these blocks up and then how I even fixed that. All right. And then we'll put the whole wall hanging together. That'll be fun. So I hope you enjoyed making this block today as I did. And I hope you stay tuned here on Jolly Molly TV for more fun on this project, Build a Halloween Bookcase by Urban Threads. And until I see you next time, take care and happy stitching. Bye-bye.